Right, guys, so this part is really important and it's something that people will often skip or delegate to somebody else. So, a lot of people will pass their basses or guitars into the local guitar store to get them set up and done properly. And that's fine. And if you're really not certain about what you're doing, then, that's fine. I would recommend you go ahead and do that. But this is something that's really, really easy to do yourself. For installing the strings, it's all good and easy, and that's the method that I've used before in the previous video. But the next stage is intonating the bass, and that's just basically fine tuning. It's making sure that your instrument is in tune all the way up the neck. Now, this is also affected by the height of the bridge, and the general setup of the bass otherwise. And as I've changed quite a lot on here today, this is probably something that I'm going to have to tweak over the next couple of days just to get it exactly as I like it. But I've set this bridge up approximately the same as my original bridge. This is the one before, and I've compared and set them up roughly the same. So what we want to do now is just sort of fine-tune the intonation of it. And that involves moving the bridge saddles to or fro. Now, that depends on the instrument you've got, of what tool you'll need to do that. Most likely screwdriver. In this case, this bridge requires a little hex screw, so I've got one of these. This seems to be the right fit. With all the screws, hex nuts, whatever you've got on there, you want to make sure you get the right size of these ones. If you use too big, you're going to break the screw. If you use too small, then you're going to sort of slowly drill out the inside of them and mean that they're unusable in the future. And that could be a real pain getting them out for a start, but also trying to do any adjustments is going to be near impossible. So intonation is really easy to check. What you want to make sure is firstly that your bass is in tune. Now, we've just done that in the last video with tuning up the basses. I've stretched these in. They're pretty stable, they're pretty solid, and they're staying where they should do. Now, what we want to do is play a 12th fret harmonic. So over the 12th fret, lightly place your finger over there and pluck. Now, this is going to be difficult because I'm not amplified at the moment. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring that up. Hopefully this is coming through okay. And you want to compare that note to the fretted note. And that's actually pretty close. Now I'm going to go back onto the tuner. Because the best way I've found to do this is to compare the fretted note with the fretted note by ear, but also with a tuner. I can see on the tuner there that the fretted note is slightly flat. So, the general rule of this is if the fretted note is sharp compared to the harmonic, then you want to be moving the saddle back, so away from the neck. If the fretted note is flat, you want to move the saddle forward, so towards the neck. So in this case, my G, I'll try and play this through the microphone here. I'll just move this down a bit. It's a little bit flat, so I need to move that slightly towards the neck. Every time you make an adjustment, make sure you retune to pitch, because it will change the overall pitch of the note. That's closer, but it's still slightly flat. So very small movements. Don't go winding it all the way around. And gradually get it to where it's in tune. I do sort of half a turn at a time. If you go more than that, then you're likely to go past the point where you want to hit. It does take a few times around. And especially as this is a brand new bridge on the bass, it's just fine-tuning it into position. And that is now pretty much spot on. So I'm going to go through and do the other strings, and then we can compare and contrast. Okay, guys, so now these strings are all pretty much in tune and intonated. So if you listen carefully, you want to be careful to play the same up and down. They're sort of consistent pluck to get it accurate. But again, when you're playing live, you're always playing different dynamics and such. So this will change with your playing anyway. Most of the time, I like to rely on my ears to make sure that they're close enough for me to not notice difference. But it just means that you've got the reassurance that if you're playing down here, right down the bottom, if you play the same note way up here, then it's going to be in tune with the rest of the bass. So intonation is really easy. It's just worth doing a checkup when you change the strings. Make sure that you're in tune all the way across the neck.